Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another Feeding Frenzy 4. The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity by Edwin Gaines, a simple guide to unlimited abundance.
Woohoo! You did it.
Halfway through the book and got the title. Yes!
We're more than
We
halfway.
are talking today about Chapter 8.
Still on commitment.
We're talking about commitment.
And yesterday we talked
when we know.
When we know, we go.
We go. And when we don't know,
We wait.
we don't go.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So how do you know when to go and when not to go?
For me, check in with my guidance. And then for me, it's just a feeling. I know when I can do it and when I can't. And if I have any fear, then I don't let that stop me as much as I used to. I won't say that. I do let that stop me sometimes, but I try not to let that stop me. I try to discern what's fear and what is really a problem, or really a no. And usually if it's a no, it's a clear no. If it's just a doubt or a fear or I'm scared, then I usually know, oh, that's just me. That's not a no from God.
Yeah.
So when it's a no, I know about it. How about you?
My no's are not always as crystal clear as I'd like for them to be.
Really?
So like Edwin, I have to ask for a sign or a signal. And I really watch to see, when I put my mind to something and I start the process, if it's a clear go signal, then everything lines up behind it to support it. You know what I'm saying? It just snowballs and things come easier and it's not as difficult as I thought it would be. And
But your no's aren't that strong?
what I was getting ready to say is I look for the same thing when I look for the no, too. When it's a blaring no, things don't go as planned, and it's harder to get something ironed out, and the universe doesn't line up behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I look for the signs as well as a knowing, because sometimes I can think, no, I don't think this is mine to do, and that just may be my fear talking.
For me, if I usually, if I'm not real sure, and I'm not always real sure on the front end of it, I'll go ahead and start it. And I usually feel it after I've started. If it's what I'm supposed to be doing, it feels right. It feels good, and people are following me. They're falling in behind me and helping me with whatever it is. If it's not, then it just doesn't feel right. And I know pretty darn quick if this is mine to do or not.
Well, like I said, it's a little more than just a feeling for me. Yeah, it doesn't feel right, but then my energy isn't with it. I'm really having to struggle to think up new ideas,
Right, that's what I mean by the
work
feeling.
with it, or do you know what I'm saying? Or there's hesitancy from other people about it, or I'm getting signals left and right saying just, maybe not the time.
I'm usually so excited I can't sleep. I want to get up and do it. In the mornings, I can't wait to jump out of bed and get it going. That's when I know it's something I'm supposed to be doing. If it's something that just doesn't light my fire and I'm having to drag myself up.
Do you have an instance that you can think of where you got an absolute no to something?
Well, most recently, I would say that, I've been to several job interviews, even though on one of the later videos here, I've made that commitment to not look for another job. I've been to several job interviews anyway and felt like this is it. This is the job, and then they never call me or something happened that I don't get it. And so I feel like that's been my no. It's like, no, you said you wanted to do this, and by golly, you're going to do it. And so that's been the biggest no I can think of most recently. There was one class I thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And went and taught the class, and it was a flop. I mean, a big flop. And I was like, okay, this is not it. I mean, I could tell you an hour into it, okay, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And then there's been several classes like that, because I feel like in some way I'm supposed to be a teacher, and we've talked about that before. But I can tell you it's not teaching that, because I've tried that, I've done everything I knew to do, and it still didn't work. This is not my passion. This is not where my heart is. This is forcing it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real difference when you're forcing something to work and when it's just working.
All right, so what is the difference to you between forcing yourself to do something just to get through the fear and forcing it and it's not right.
Again, it's the feeling for me. For instance, when we would go on the fire walk, and I knew it was mine to do, because I would ask and ask and ask, and I didn't get a clear no. And I felt like this is something I really wanted to do, and there was excitement about it. And it was like, I am scared to death, but this is fun. And it was a good excitement. It was, you know, and when I've spoken in front of crowds before, I am scared out of my mind, but it feels good. It's an exciting scare. It's not a, I'm not supposed to be
dreading,
or I don't want to be here, or, oh my God, please don't make me do this. It's not one of those. It's a, oh, I know I'm supposed to do this, but it scares the hell out of me. You know, one of those kind of feelings of, this is excitement, not fear, not dread. You know, even though the firewalk was fear, it was still something I wanted to do. I wanted to prove that I could do it to myself, not to anyone else, and to prove that I can follow that guidance. So it's just the feeling. It's that power, having that power, not power over anyone, the power within that's not mine. Feeling that use of power that I could not do on my own. That is the adrenaline rush that I look for. And so when we did the fire walk, for instance, you know, I kept thinking, should I do this? And kept praying and asking my guidance. We'd go around and around the fire, and we kept going around and around, and I was making all these excuses in my head as to why this will work and why it won't. And there was this battle going on inside of me, and it was like, can I do this or not? Is this mine to do or not? And I never did get a clear answer. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to get in that line, and if it's not mine to do, you better stop me. You know? And I got in that line, and the closer I got to the front of the line, the more adrenaline rush I felt. Like, oh my God, this is going to be the most exciting thing I've ever done. I got so excited, I knew I had to do it. I knew it was mine to do, and I knew that unless something drastic happened, I was doing it. You know, and God better stop me if it wasn't mine to do. And when I went across that first time, it was like, oh my gosh, that wasn't me. You know, it was as if something else took me across that fire. And it was the same way when I started speaking the first time, when I was speaking about, you know, it happened to be a Bible study in my case, but when I started speaking about something I was passionate about, and then I started speaking about computers and those kind of things, and as long as I'm compassionate, I mean, not compassionate, but passionate about it, and believe in what I'm talking about, then it just feels right. But you put me up in front of a crowd on something I really don't
care anything about,
or I'm just forcing it, and man, it falls apart in a hurry. And I learned that the hard way, you know. So I'm learning better to ask ahead of time, is this mine to do? And then to listen or feel that guidance. And if I get the excitement of, I can't not do it, then I know it's mine to do it.
For me, whenever I get that clear go signal, like you said, that burst of energy comes with it. It absolutely comes with it. I don't have to wait for it. It comes with the decision to do it.
Right. I don't tend to procrastinate.
Exactly. Exactly. If it's a no, or like we'll talk about later, tomorrow, a second force, then I get a little resistance there. If it's a clear no, it's a lot of resistance. It not only comes from me, but I also see it around me.
Yes, but I also have this problem of when it's something I'm really supposed to do, and I think I'm having this right now, it's something I really know I'm supposed to be doing, and there's a true excitement about it, but it also scares the heck out of me, and so I procrastinate with it. But there's a part of me that knows this is what I'm here for. There's a part of me that knows this is what you're supposed to be doing, so why I'm still having trouble with this.
I think fear drags our heels.
I think in this case that's probably what it is. I don't know, but I can tell you this, I bet you $10 if I start it and it's not the thing I'm supposed to be doing, I'll know it really quick. And if it is, I'll know it really quick. So again, the fear is just that membrane, and once you stick your toe through it, you're going to know whether this is yours to do or not. And you'll get off one way or the other.
In one way or the other.
So I know we'll talk about the second force tomorrow, but how do you discern which one is a no and which is a second force when things don't go the way that you thought they would? How do you know if it's a second force or a no? Or do you?
I don't know until I try it. Because a second force and a no feel in the moment almost the same to me.
Me too. That's why I'm asking.
So I almost have to push against that membrane a little and stick my toe through and see what I get. You know what I'm saying? It's in that point that I put forth that little extra effort to see, is this a true no, or is this just fear?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I'm getting a resistance, then I will stop and I'll actually pray, okay, if this isn't the way, show me another. Because it may not be that it's not mine to do, but this may not be the approach I'm supposed to
Or
go.
the timing.
Or the timing isn't right. I know when you put your house up for sale the first time, it felt right. Everything that we could do was done, but the timing just wasn't right. It just wasn't right. And so we decided, okay, we'll just back off and see what happens. Well, there was a place and a time, and there was a need for that, for us to still hang on to that place for a while. And as soon as that need was over, it was time to let it go. But had we not decided, okay, maybe not now, I think we probably would have kept getting those signals of no.
Of waiting.
No, it's not time.
Yep, I agree.
So for me, I think it's if I keep trying and keep getting the same no, not now. And those, again, are feelings that I get. There's signals that I receive, from the outside. There's many different things that speak to me. And it's not necessarily the same thing that's going to speak to you.
Right.
But if I keep getting that over and over again, or if I keep losing the interest or the energy in it, then I'll see that as
I was going to say, I think it's a lot of it has to do with our desires. And if the desire dwindles with each no, and there's a difference in the desire going away and being afraid. And a lot of times I think it's just our fear, and that's why we keep having the second force, is to work through those fears as opposed to the desire just completely going away.
Yes.
So we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
That's good stuff.
It's very good stuff.
Extreme.